Okay, so what type of data types did we come up with here in this example? Brendan, student number. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Brian, student name. Good, easy. Ben, student date of birth. Lovely. Subjects there. Luke. I think so, yeah. I think varchar, that'd be like symbols and letters and characters and that. What about tutor there, Harry? Sorry? Varchar, yeah. Tutor contact number, Dalvin. Do you think so? Do you think it'd be number? So yeah, some, but you see that's the problem. You can't have one, like, what about there where you've got the dashes? Will number break down with that? Because that's one of the rules. So we just need to be careful of that one and watch out for that one. If you're having specific numbers, it's going to be a phone number. But that's the problem here with this one. You don't just have specific numbers. You've got dashes and that. So yeah, so maybe like, well, you might just have to do it in a way where you either strip out those kind of dashes. I don't know, but in that particular example there, I'd say it's probably just varchar. You know, in that particular example, but you can make it more stringent by using things like the number and that and altering it to your format. So 5 other pieces. Donald, you come up with another one. Yeah, so just you were supposed to come up with another 5, well, if you could, 5 other kind of pieces of fields, attribute information. Address, lovely. And what do you think the date type for that would be? Varchar, yeah. Luke, do you get another one? Student email. And what sort of varchar again? Owen, what about you? Absent days, right. And what type of date type? No, well, I'd say absent days might be number, would it? What do you think, lads? Absent days. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Would that be number? I think so, yeah. Look, that's enough. Well done. You've got it there. Let's move on. So, brilliant stuff here. We're nearly finished. Issues with the flat file database. What are your issues? So, the issues we can have. What do you think, before I even reveal some of the answers there? Lee and Shay down there, you were doing to it and ask in that round. Do you think of any issues that could occur?
Like the future contact number, with some being leaving a number, so maybe saying
Yes. Yes. You know, you could have a mix-up or the same kind of numbers there or something like that. That is a very good one. Well done. So you could have duplication of entries or, you know, that's something you'd need to watch out for in database. Absolutely. Well, here's some of the 2 of the big issues you'd have with a database, if I could reveal it to you. 2 of the big issues you could have here with the flat file database are redundancies and inconsistencies. Now, as you'll see in a moment, those words are not as scary as they look. Redundant data. What you mean by that is you want to have exactly 1 copy of each piece of data in our system. 1 copy only. Data redundancy occurs when the same piece of data is stored in 2 or more separate places. And Shay, I think that's what you hit exactly on the head there, which having the date and timestamp and the phone number being you know, you could have 2 the same there. What could happen, what sort of issues with that. So data redundancy occurs when you have the same piece of data stored in 2 or more separate places. And wouldn't that make sense? Do you know? So that's redundancy. And data consistency refers to whether the same data kept at different places do or do not match. So if it does not match, you could have an inconsistency. So basically, depending on how you're trying to access the data, if you were accessing it and it was coming back in different ways, that, you know, that was kept in different places, it does not match, you will get an issue there as well, and that's referred to as an inconsistency. So, how do we get about this? How do we fix up these problems with redundant data and inconsistent data? You do something in the database world known as normalization of the database. So the solution to redundancy and inconsistency in a relational database is a process called normalization. And as you see there, we're after changing now as well from a flat file database to a relational database. Now, we mentioned earlier that a flat file database is a database that contains one table and the information in that table, and that's it. But a relational database is where you have several tables and all that data is related in some way. And when you start to fix the problems with the flat file database table, all this inconsistency and redundancy, one of the ways you do this is by using relational databases and this process of normalization. So, normalized database is one where the redundancies have been removed. The full definition is a little bit more complicated, but basically you're removing these redundancies. And how do we do this? So, we use things such as, we use something known as a primary key, or primary keys and foreign keys. But the first important concept to understand is the idea of a primary key. So, primary key, it's the column or columns, because you can have more than one primary key, but it's the column really which uniquely identifies one and only one row in a relational database. And so, which in the student table, which was the column that uniquely identified everyone? The student number, wasn't it? The student number. So you had 0001, 0002, 0003, and whatever numbers after that, and they uniquely identified each row in the relational database. So task here, take 2 minutes to consider the data in the student records. Which columns are candidates to be our primary key, and in each case, why or why not? So, you have to look here at these columns: student number, student name, student date of birth, subjects, tutor, tutor contact number. Have a look and say to yourself, is this a candidate to be a primary key, which is a unique identifier? Is this a candidate to be a primary key? And say why or why not. Okay, go for it.